Hello, my name is Maria, I'm channel manager at Capture One, and I'm here to show you through your first steps with your new software. First of all, thank you for purchasing your new license through one of our trusted reseller partners, and we all hope you're going to enjoy using our software. So, in this video I will show you how to download Capture One, how to activate your new license, and I will show you some things that you need to do in order to get started once you are in the interface, like importing files, doing auto adjustments, and processing to Jpeg. Let's go! So, the first thing we need to do is create an account at capture1.com if you don't have one already. So just go into capture1.com, and in here on the top menu you find this little icon. Let's just click here, and this will allow you to identify yourself if you already have an account, and if not, you can just create one by clicking here on sign up and introducing your information. I do have one already, so I'm just going to use my credentials. Note that I will be using the same email address to register at capture1.com, as I will need to use it later to activate the actual license. So with this information, I'm going to log in. And once you have done that, you will find this user panel where you can manage your license, use the help center, or what we have to do right now, which is to download Capture One. So we can click here. This will bring us to this other page where you can select whether you need the installer for Windows or for Mac. Although this is typically detected automatically, the operating system is detected automatically by the website. So typically it will just choose the right option. So in my case, Mac. So I would just click on download and then install the application normally. I already have done that. So I'm just going to now launch Capture One to show you how to activate the license. So we will get this splash screen first of all, so we have to click on Let's Get Started. This will launch a new application window because it needs to be linked to your capture1.com account. So note, I'm using the same email address. This is important. If it's not the same email address, the same profile that you already linked to capture1.com, you will get problems activating your license. So keep that in mind. Now we click on Login again. We just click Open Capture 122, and there you go. Now you have to select whether you're using a trial, or in your case, you already have a license key. So just select Use License Key. Then you have this 16-digit key code that you got from your reseller. Just copy paste it here. You will see this is my license key in my case, and just click on Activate. Now Capture One is active, and it just gets us through this wizard to help set up the first steps. So we, for example, can use sample images or find new ones on the disk. For now, I'm just going to stick to the sample images. I'm going to click on Next, and then we can decide how we want to see the interface on the first time. Typically, by default, the tools come on the left and the thumbnails on the right. So that's how I'm going to keep it for today. But just so you know, it can be customized. Let's click on Next. And there you're good to go. We can launch Capture One. So now Capture One is launching, and because we selected to use sample images, this is what we got. Capture One already generated this catalog with a couple of, well, sample images to start playing around. So I'm going to use these to show you around the interface. So this is the interface by default. You notice these icons where you have all of your tools gathered. So they are placed in a logical order. You have the library, where you would do all of the file management operations. Then you have the tethering module. If you are tethering with Capture One, this will be one that you will be using a lot. Then you have shape, things like cropping, rotation and flip, keystone corrections, all of that. Then you get styles, which is how we call presets in Capture One. You can download some, you can generate your own. You have here the main adjustments, things like layers, white balance, exposure, clarity, well, all the main adjustments in Capture One. And here on the refine module, we have everything that is related to detail, like sharpening, noise reduction, and film grain. So by changing around these tool tabs, you will find all of your tools in Capture One. Typically, we'll be spending a lot of time in adjustments and library, and in tether, if that's something that you will be doing. Then we have on the top some basic operations that we need to use a lot, things like before and after slider. Well, it can be toggled on and off as a whole preview, or we can just use the split view slider, just like so, if you want to compare before and after using this option, and some other useful things like grid, exposure warning, which we don't have any in this case, copy and apply adjustments, and here we have reset adjustments. Everything in Capture One is non-destructive. All of the adjustments are non-destructive, so you can always go back to what you used to have. I want to stick with my previous editing, so I'm just going to go back, Command Z, Control Z for Windows. And then we have some couple of things that are also interesting to note, like auto adjustments and import and export. If you have any issues about the interface, I recommend you turn on the help. So here on the top menu help, you can turn on the tips. And that's going to give you some extra information about some of the things that you need to know in Capture One, or things that you might want to find some help finding out, like the black and white conversion or the exposure or some things like that. In any case, I will be giving you some more information on where to find more tutorials or further help in the end of this video, so bear with me. So now that we know the interface, let's just bring in some more photos of our own. So I'm just going to go to the library now to see how to organize these files, and I'm going to click on Import right here on the top left corner. And I have selected a folder from my hard drive, and I'm just going to bring in a couple of photos. So we can either use this view, or we can use the viewer for extra help if we want to have a bigger preview of what our images are. And I'm just going to select a couple of images. Typically, I like to do this just with my keyboard arrows. Up and down will allow me to select the photo. And then by using the spacebar, I can just select what I want to bring in. So in this case, I'm going to bring in this photo, and for example, this photo. So just the three of them for a quick demo. So I'm just going to import these three images, clicking here. Now Capture One imported our images, and it created a new album with recent imports. For now, I'm just going to leave it like that, and I will just point you out in the good direction for more tips about how to get started and how to organize your files. So let's say, for example, now I wanted to apply some auto adjustments here. So I can do that using this icon over here on the top bar. I can just click on auto adjust, and that will give me some automatic adjustments that in this case actually turn out to be really good. Let's try here. This is also very good. If we wanted to, of course, keep modifying on this editing, you can also, of course, do that. Here you have all the tools in Capture One, and you can just keep using those. So, just so you know, I wanted to give you a couple of tips. I know that this interface might be a little bit intimidating at first, so my getting started tips would be just use what you are comfortable with at the start of the process. You don't need to use all the tools. You don't need to go through all the tools in the same order. You can just choose what you're comfortable with and stick to that. So we can do a very good editing just with basic adjustments like exposure, contrast, and white balance. So that's already looking so much better. And if you want to compare before and after, remember that it's right here. So that's a tip to get started. And I also wanted to show you how to change to a different interface in case you need that, because I know it can be useful for new Capture One users. So in here, next to all your tool tabs, you have this three-dot icon. You can click here, and you have an option called Workspaces. And then in the Workspace option, you have multiple workspaces that already come with the software. So I wanted to show you, for example, the simplified one. The simplified one just makes everything cleaner and easier by removing some options that you might not need at the beginning of your process, and just leaves you with the very essentials. So that might be something you're interested about. And another one that I wanted to show you is if you are traditionally a Lightroom user and you find their interface more intuitive, we have created an interface called Migration that is right here. And that migration interface is just going to transform the whole Capture One space. It's going to place your thumbnails on the bottom of the screen and your tools on the right. And note that you will get the same tools in the same orders as in your old editing software. So I hope that is useful. Now, the next thing I wanted to show you is how to export to Jpeg the images you already edited. So in my case, I'm going to select these two images. And to select multiple images, I can just press and hold the Shift key and click on the images I want to select or deselect. In my case, I want to keep only these two photos, so that's what I'm going to do. And now that I selected them both, here on the top left corner, you can find next to the import, the export tab. So I'm going to click here, That's going to get me to this pop-up window where you will find the export recipes. Export recipes are exporting presets. There's plenty that already come with Capture One. Things like full-size JPEG, web use JPEG, Instagram optimize, couple of tips, and even a PSD formula. In this case, I'm just going to select the full-size JPEG. Please note you can select as many export recipes as you want simultaneously, and that will just turn out in different files for all of these images. In my case, I'm just going to select one. Note that the format and size already comes pre-made with all of the formulas that you find in Capture One. So for example, this is a JPEG, 100% quality and 100% size. The only thing you need to do is to select the location folder where you want the images to go. In my case, I selected the desktop. And once I have done that, I can just click on Export to Images right here. Now I did that, Capture One is processing my images and they are already in my desktop now. So this is the 2 files that I processed from RAW to JPEG. This is where you can find them. Let's go back to Capture One now. If you want to keep learning, I wanted to suggest you can use the learning button right here on the interface on the top right corner. You can just click here and you will get all of these very useful tutorials by my colleague David Grover about getting started, photo editing, file organization, and any other tips that you might find useful to get started with. So this is all available within the interface, and I also wanted to show you. So we can now close this window, and I wanted to show you also our Learning Hub. You can find it by typing on the browser learn.capture1.com, and here you have multiple things that will help you to learn Capture One, things like full webinars, blog posts, and also tutorials. So for example, this is a good place to start on the top 10 tutorials. Just click here and it will be filtered automatically. You will find tips like changing from Lightroom, image editing, all of this kind of thing. And if you still need some support in setting up, you can just click here on support. And that will get you to our support site where you can find things like release notes, the full user guide, and frequently asked questions. So in case you need that, that is handy all over here. And if you have technical problems that you need to submit a request, you can just click here. Make sure to go through these questions first because this is what most times it's about, and then you can find your information right away. If that's not enough, you can still submit a support request and our team will be happy to help you. So that is all for today. I hope this tutorial was useful and I hope to see you soon around our webinars in capture1.com, in our YouTube channel, and with our reseller partners. Bye!